Welcome back to the Unpopular Opinion Becoming Popular. My name is Yana the Heretic, and we will be discussing Gate 9 today. It's a little bit of a back-to-back episode series. Finding myself a little behind, but there's been a lot of things coming for you guys. Gate 9 is the gate of focus, taming the power of the small. This is another sacral gate. This is part of the understanding circuit. And it is a collective gate. We are in a new archetype. The archetype is Prometheus. This was one of my favorite movies that the Alien series has, despite the first two, obviously, with Sigourney Weaver, but regardless, Prometheus is this aspect of having new DNA, this transformative new, DNA that's out in the world. It's like the Nephilim in a way. And it is the ability to reach godliness as humans. And Prometheus, as we know, is a Titan. The Titans were pre-Zeus, Zeus's rule, and the Titans didn't want their children to overthrow them. Obviously, Zeus did exactly that. He was one of the ones that withstood getting eaten by his dad Kronos because of his wife, who made Zeus, she bundled some rocks together that made it look like baby Zeus, and then Kronos ate rocks instead of Zeus. So, the fates were the fates, and Zeus ended up overthrowing Kronos and didn't give a shit about Prometheus, and Prometheus ended up, stealing the fire of Olympus and giving it to humans. So this is sacral fire. We're seeing this come up to more so a logic. It's mastery in focus. So what is this state of focus? What is the energy behind it? It is this pulse to stay on the same topic in order to reach alchemy, to master something. So this is the fertility that comes from being able to focus. Obviously we all have been in those states, and they feel like eros, like erotic energy, but it is channeled into and up into the sphere of logic and remembering and organizing thoughts, organizing a structure. So, I don't know if Prometheus actually pitied humans, or if it was just to make a mockery of Zeus. He started making his own human beings out of clay and mocking Zeus, being like, look how easy it is to, create life. And he went far beyond his assigned duties by Zeus. They were supposed to take care of humans and animals, and Prometheus was like, well, you know what, you really shouldn't be ruling and overthrowing us, so I'm just gonna give humans the sense of godliness. So and that was, magic, the arts, sciences, the element of actual fire, was given to human beings. And Zeus was furious because he wanted to be the almighty top of the top. He didn't want anyone to know of these secrets of how to be a god or how to reach the higher state or ascend. So, he ended up putting Prometheus on a mountain and strapping him to this mountain where he would get his liver eaten by this eagle every single day. And because Prometheus is immortal, he was going to die every single day and feel that pain over and over and over again. And, you know, until like Hercules saved him, it didn't subside. So this is a real metaphor for what it takes to focus. You know, if you have this gate, you're really trying to create this formula. And I talk about this a lot, actually, because I do have this gate. I have this gate, both conscious and unconscious. So it's very prevalent in my definition. And I've always talked about, what is the formula of focus? I don't have my root defined, yo. So it's really hard for me to like take, you know, one step at a time, which is contradicting to the gate 9, right? It's taming the power of the small, which means, you know, taking small steps and digesting this process in order to really comprehend, you know, what I am trying to focus on. And without gate 52, which is the gate of stillness, keeping still mountain, which I don't have and is neither filtering this transit. It's definitely takes a lot for me to sit down and focus, especially in my younger years. I felt like very ambitious, very much like unlimited. There was like a lack of limitation all of a sudden for me. And I thought that I could do everything. And if you believe that, it's hard to focus on just one thing. You know, I am designed to be a jack of all trades, but what does it take? What is the formula of today? You know, so typically every single magician, every single artist, every single scientist, they have a formula of how they're going to reach this focus. For me, it is, you know, saging my house. It's creating this organized place where I'm, you know, here is my art table and it is clear of all other projects today so that I can start on this new project. You know, what is unfinished has to be finished, and it goes in this cycle. Most of the time I do want to stretch or exercise before I do anything that, you know, requires me to sit down and read or sit down and create. Because if my mind and my body has this surge of power, then I find myself to be more scattered. So I have to exhaust myself prior to sitting down and creating stillness for myself, or meditate, you know, and get myself to a tranquil state before I accomplish anything, because I really start to get this type of fidgety, fleeting energy where I can't read something without, you know, it's like reading the same page 50 fucking times and retaining nothing. That's what it feels like. So every single artist has a formula. Sometimes people take cognitive elixirs. Some people, you know, take breaks frequently and do something else in order for them to come back to the project and stay focused. So it's a painful process, right? Because, you know, unless you have the channel of concentration, you know, it's fleeting. It's, you know, constant work in order to stay on one task at a time. So it's something that requires a lot of scheduling, as well as preparation, as well as, you know, really having the meaning present. Why are you doing what you're doing? It comes back to that, you know, transformative process of like, well, what does this look like? You know, Prometheus's name is foresight. It means foresight. So it's the visionary process. It's you getting lost in that visionary concept of, well, if I stay focused to this one thing and I completely am tethered to it, then what's going to come from it in the future? And having that visionary process come to you, a reason why I like to meditate prior to sitting down, is because, you know, you really start to encapsulate like other fields and dimensions of what is possible if you finish this one project. So it's really attempting to harness this like very kind of like a trying to catch a cricket, you know, like it's like, oh, like this like total cool energy, this springing away, you know, and you're just trying to like catch it and like retain it and keep it. And you know, the cricket has this like chirp, right? So it's like the pulse of the sacral. It's like once you have this pulse, you have it, you know. And it gives you a lot of consciousness. And we do not have the channel of concentration this week, like I had mentioned. So we will feel a lot more scattered before the eagle eye focuses, unless you do have this entire channel defined. You know, there's other aspects, there's other channels that you can have that give you this focus as well, like the gate of power skills. But typically we're going to feel a little scattered before like we stay focused on one thing. And just remember that alchemy and mastery is, you know, you have little steps. It's okay to take your time. As long as you take your time, you will comprehend the entire process. So maybe you're not, you know, learning like for 4 hours a day. Maybe you're learning for 30 minutes a day, but as long as it lasts, you know, like 30 minutes each day, then you're gonna, you know, still retain that. You're, you know, if you practice like guitar 30 minutes a day or drums, like at least you're going to have that muscle memory come forward, and eventually it will become mastery. It'll become easier to get lost into that focus. You're chiseling these pathways for yourself. And once you do get to that place, you're capable of retaining and expanding so many details at once. This is linked to the 62, which is an ajna gate, which is the ability to retain detail and create, you know, new language, a framework of language. So this is part of it, even though it's not connected directly. This is the energy behind it, where you can actually take on a lot of detail once you stay focused, and it's not overwhelming for you. Once you're in that tunnel of focus. This mechanism fires energy from the sacral to all networks together. And it takes a lot of determination and commitment. Those are the key traits to be able to handle and harness this process. Ask yourself what will come from this in the end. It's very important to stick to your goals and keep them in your foresight. You know, so people with this gate are typically a lot more visionary naturally. This gate is on the cross of planning, so these are the type of people that like to know ahead of time what this travel schedule looks like. You know, these are people that want to know every single detail. They're like great maids of honor, you know, because they will make sure everything is intact the day of, so that even if there's a problem, they know how to handle this problem. If something comes up that is unexpected, they have a plan B, a plan C. So this is what is the potential of having this gate. You know that once you get there, you're going to be safe. You're going to know what's going to happen. You've already talked to those people. You shook their hands. You know, you already paid those bills. You paid the deposit. So, you know, and this is also creating the plan for your future, you know, like sticking to your goals. This is what this year is going to be about, and this is the goals that I have for this year. How do I reach those goals? Maybe putting them down into a planner, pricing out what you need to buy, and then making sure that, oh, once, you know, money trickles in, you can actually buy those things. And there is a priority list of what to get in order for you to start building off of that plan. So every piece matters. You know, you have to yang it out to yin within. That is a silly saying for this week's transit, because the yin is on the inside now. So what that means is you're taking this logic, this logistical force of focus, you know, this focusing of the mind and the consciousness, and, you know, creating this depth and this flow within that is really a graceful place. It's really this ability to remember, you know, hey, you know, this is what godliness is the ability to alchemize the energy of changing, you know, your DNA, you know, into more of a refined race. I don't know if that sounds weird, but in a way it's like, yeah, who knows, like maybe the archangels did come down and give us, you know, this new DNA or whatever. But remember that you can do it on your own, is what I'm trying to say, is that you can reach that state of internal force that gets you to be the best at something. And usually when you harness skills that are traditional, you know, they're still going to be very much needed on this earth and this planet. Don't forget about that, because a lot of people are like, well, how can we make our lives easier? And if you look at all of the alchemists, all of the products that are expensive, these all are expensive because they come from the alchemists that are doing it the hard way, the long way, through their body, through repetition, over and over and over again. You know, there's some soy sauce that costs like thousands of dollars to get because this person got passed down, you know, the tradition of creating things in these specific pots and aged for 80 years. Like, that's what I want to bring back to the table and to the forefront of everyone's minds is, you know, just because certain people are going to take the easy route doesn't mean that it's more valuable than the route that is long. So just remember that. How do you think that old rulers can feel respected in the presence of new gods? This reminds me of Brahms' book, Lost Gods. It's a really great one if you need a solid read. How do you honor the past versions of yourself that aid you moving forward towards self-mastery? So we're going to be seeing a lot of people post about what they've accomplished this year. You know, that's usually the end of the year resolution type shit. So, you know, that's a great thing to do. Honor how much you have learned and the things that you have gone through, because it'll make you empowered to push through further, instead of just being like, well, nothing matters and everything's meaningless and all this energy is just wasted. Who is your role model or role models? How did this inspiritor achieve their goals in order to shine in their story? I love being inspired. I'm the type of person that needs to be constantly inspired by others, and to ask questions. So I love hearing people's story and what they've went through, their honest story. That's all I've ever wanted, and it's more so coming out now in this age, because a lot of people in the past were a lot more secretive about how they did what they did, and now I'm seeing a lot of people talk about their process, which is extremely helpful. So I'm grateful for that. What did you think of Alien Prometheus? I want to know if you watched that. If you haven't, please watch it. Let me know what you think of that movie. How has your DNA shaped how you focus and thrive? That was a really great question. You know, we can always take the reins of our genetics and really not deal with, you know, there's this aspect of, oh, well, you know, my parents got Alzheimer's or dementia, and that's what I'm looking forward to. That's probably going to happen, you know, and instead reshaping that framework for you and being like, well, what is behind all of those genetic deficiencies? How can I prevent that from happening? You know, what's underlying here? You have the power to change, you know, this rift, you know, change the way that your life and the future of your lineage is going, and believe that is possible. What is your formula? Do you need everything to be organized and fresh before you start? I do, yeah. Do you need to take a break and meditate or jog? Do you need to take Alpha Brain or any cognitive elixirs to help you along the way? Are you someone that just gets up and starts drawing? Like, that's all I've ever wanted to do, but I am not that person. I need to feel like the room's set up, you know, but I am interested in all of your answers. Please message me. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the beginning of Focused, I Amness, and Prometheus. I will catch you guys later in the next transit. Thank you.